Joining us now to kick off hour number 3 is the head coach of the New York Jets, fresh off of handing the first loss of the season to the Philadelphia Eagles, Robert Saleh, here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Rich. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. I woke up half of London after midnight on Sunday, or it's really Monday technically, watching your game and watching your team do what I was kind of thrilled to see personally, but you knew that already. So walk me through what your game plan was against Hurts without three corners and without your linemen that we know you're out for the rest of the season. What do you got for me on that front, Coach?
You know what? A lot of credit to Jeff Albrecht, Tony Oden, and Mark Von Manuel, our the DB coaches. There was a lot of shuffling. We played a lot of different personnel groupings. There was a lot of guys in and out of the huddle, or in and out of the formation, if you will. But there was a lot of selflessness that happened on the football field with regard to the players. We had safeties playing corner. We had safeties playing nickel. We had corners playing nickel. Nickels playing corner. There was just a lot of moving parts to try to put us in the best position to be successful down in and down out. And then I thought Albrecht called an excellent game, understanding where we were in the game and run pass tendencies and all that. And then obviously with our D line, if your D-line plays at an elite level, it doesn't matter who you have back there. You're going to have elite defense. And I thought our D-line got after it against one of the better offensive lines in football. And they're so well coached and they're so explosive. Philadelphia is. So it's, hats off to the players. At the end of the day, they're the ones that suit up. And we always say players bring things to life, and our guys did that.
Are there any more Williams left for you to field to get? You got any more? Is there any more left in the family? Have you checked on that family tree, Robert?
Maybe they can make one.
I don't know if that's going to help for the next 12 weeks, but honestly, Quincy is a revelation, man. This guy is unbelievable. Did you see this coming in any way, shape, or form, or even you a little surprised here, Coach?
I've told the story. You can't sit there. You never know, because for every right evaluation you get 10 of them wrong. It's just the way it works. But I remember I've told the story a couple times. In 2019, we drafted Nick Bosa. Mm-hmm. And after we drafted Nick Bosa, I went right to Kyle and John Lynch. I said, hey, we need a linebacker. And Kyle was like, get out of here, man. You already got the second pick. Mm-hmm. If you want a linebacker, find a day 3 guy, someone that's going to be undrafted. Otherwise, you don't bother me. And our two guys, talking with D'Amico Ryans, we sat there, we evaluated all those guys, and our two favorite linebackers for day 3 were Quincy Williams and Dre Greenlaw. Those were our two guys. And now Quincy ended up getting drafted, and we worked with Dre, and Dre turned out being pretty darn good, and we drafted Dre. And so when we got here, and Jacksonville cut Quincy, just hands and knees. Joe, just give us a chance to work with him.
Right.
And it was easy. Joe was awesome. He claimed him. We were number 2 in the waiver claim, and then everything else is Quincy. I think Mike Rudenberg, our linebackers coach, has done a phenomenal job, but Quincy has been so good with regards to his work ethic and really remaking himself as a football player, and how deliberate he is, and just working with CJ and understanding what we ask out of our linebackers, playing and play out. And credit to him, he's gotten so much better doing the things that we ask him to do, and he's gotten so much more explosive, so much smarter, so much more instinctive, where he's not even thinking about, he's freakishly long for his size. He's like 5'10", but he has the arm length of a 6'3" athlete. He runs like a safety. He hits like a D lineman. I mean, he's a special human.
Robert Saleh here on the Rich Eisen Show. And, the narrative, I'm sure you've heard it. You live in New York City, in the area, that the defense is elite, and then the offense, certainly with Rodgers down for the count at present, needs to match. And it seems like it's the same narrative as the previous year, except Zach Wilson does appear to have a better sense of things and a better game of things. What's your assessment of Zach Wilson in this bye week right now, Coach?
No, for sure. He's improving. I never want to give excuses for our guys, but it hasn't been easy when you look at everything being built for Aaron, and then we're having the shift in season the way we have. Credit again to the players, the coaches, and as we continue to evolve. But as we're trying to hit this knuckleball that was thrown to us 4 plays into the season, we're doing it against unbelievable defenses. Buffalo, before all their injuries, is the top 10 unit. Dallas is a top 10 unit. New England's a top 10 unit. Kansas City's a top 10 unit. And Philadelphia's a top 10 unit. You can argue all of them are capable of being top 5. And, so we've as we're trying to adjust, we're playing against defenses that have been together forever. Like I said, all of those units have had 4 or 5 years of continuity, so they're playing at a much more efficient level. So you're making these changes. And again, it's not to make excuses, just try to provide context at the difficulty, at the learning curve that's taking place. So we are getting better. I know it's not quite showing the way people want to see it, but just stick with it. And I think people are going to start seeing how good this offense can be, because at the end of the day, it's not easy getting to the red zone. And we've gotten to the red zone 9 times in the last 2 weeks. So obviously the negative is we haven't been able to punch the goal line and get it across for touchdowns, but we're getting there. And we're that close. We just got to stick to it, have faith in one another, and keep plugging away.
And of course, it's not just the physical attributes of Aaron Rodgers. It's also the neck up and the ability to discern pre-snap what's coming, what can be done, how to get people in line, and hardly any other human has that ability on planet Earth, let alone somebody who's young like Zach Wilson. So my question for you is, what has Nathaniel Hackett done with the offense, with him, to switch things up in such a short order? Can you give me some examples of what you're seeing with some fruit being born right now?
Yeah, for sure. It's, Aaron, and he deserves this. He's in the same mold as Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, where, just let's put the formation out there. Don't move. Let me see what they're in, and I'll tell you, and I'll fix whatever call we have if it needs to be fixed. Like they're coaches that can still throw footballs. It's like a cheat code. Zach will get there one day. Zach is incredibly smart. He's really tied into the game. He's a student of the game, and he's constantly studying. But like you said, he's young. So Hackett has taken some of that off him. It's more call it and run it. It's a lot more moving, a lot more pre-snap motion and movement. So a lot of things that you traditionally wouldn't have seen with Aaron. But again, there's little things. I don't want to get too deep into it, Rich. I'm sorry, just because a full show. But there's little things happening that really big things happening that haven't quite come to fruition yet. But you can't just flip the switch. You've got to slowly spoon feed it as you build. You can't just throw it all away in 1 week, because you've spent so many months from OTAs to training camp building a certain system. And so little by little, we're getting into this new identity of who we are at this moment. And I think you've seen it since the Kansas City game. We're starting to find balance. We're starting to find an identity. So when it comes to, the play calling and things of that nature, and just, Zach's comfort level, what conversations have you had with Zach that you're willing to share with me? I mean, obviously it can't help to have, Hard Knocks is all about, it was like a Rodgers documentary, you know what I mean? And we saw the way that the team was feeling about Rodgers being there. And the subtext was you needed him because Zach wasn't ready last year. To be straight up. And then, the pressure and the nonstop chatter about him not being ready. I was definitely part of that drumbeat. I'm not going to lie. And then, Joe Namath chiming in. All of that, it can't be easy, and I'm sure it wasn't easy for you. What conversations in that, if you will, foxhole did you have with Zach that you're willing to share with me? To be honest with you, it's to have faith in himself. This year is different than last year. Last year, I think it was very clear that he lost confidence, and it wasn't even about Sunday. It was about the week and about practice, and it was, you could just tell that he was in his own head. He just wasn't having confidence in the way he was going, the way things were working out for him. This is different. He's slinging the ball in practice. He's making the right decisions in practice. His footwork, timing, and rhythm is unbelievable. He's having days where he's 19 of 20. I think last week he was 19 of 20 on a Wednesday. Just doing a really, really good job. And So for him, it's just have faith in that. Just believe in yourself. Just take it to Sunday. The pitcher's not always going to be perfect, but have faith in your preparation, have faith in your footwork, your eyes, and just let that ball rip. And I think he's, for him, it's all confidence. And I think he's done a good job. Like I said, we've played some really, really good defenses that make it hard, but he's getting better. And I'm just hoping for him to have a little bit more success as we go and continue getting better. He's going to prove that he belongs.
And you pulled him into your office and had these conversations? Or pulled him aside?
Just whenever I can. It's not even pulling him in. It's sometimes, he comes through the office once in a while, and we sit down and talk. Sometimes it's in stretch lines. It's,
Sure.
just always I try not to be too much in his head. But he's a good young man. He stands for the right stuff. I always tell people that if a player's working his tail off and he's doing everything he can, and he has talent, go back to Quincy Williams. It's the same mold. These guys he's incredibly gifted, and he's putting in all this work. If you just stay patient, he'll break through. Unfortunately, in the NFL world, patience is not a word, especially here. But it's as a coach, you got to be willing to put your own worries to the side and sacrifice and commit to these players and trust that if you just allow that athleticism to find its way, that'll pay off. But and it might not pay off for you as a coach, but it's going to pay off for him as a player, and that's all that's important.
A few minutes left I have with you. Your heart of hearts, you think Rodgers plays this year? Do you think?
I don't know. You know what? My let's say this: my heart is cheering for him because of how hard he's working to get back. And whether he does or doesn't, he's already told us everything he is. He's already spoken about the man he is, the character he is, and because it's very easy to just say, you know what, I'm out for the year. I'm going to kick my foot up. I'm going to hang out. But he is straining to try to get back, and I think that tells you everything that you need to know about him and his character.
What's he doing with Zach or around? Give me some examples of what he's doing in the mix. I mean, we see a photograph of him obviously celebrating the win against the Eagles here with the rest of his mates, but you got an example of behind the scenes of what he's doing? Anything on that front?
You know what? I don't know. He's going back and forth between California and with his rehab and all that stuff.
Right.
And but I do know that he's been having conversations. I'm sure I would imagine they talk. I try not to pry into that. I do know that his teammates love him. We love him, and I know he loves his teammates. And anytime that he's around and his voice speaks, I think it's greatly appreciated. And he's a great young man. The connection he's made with his teammates in that locker room over the last 6 months is special. I don't know if I've ever seen it before.
Yeah, I saw Lake and Tomlinson get all choked up about the bond in that locker room. I saw that.
Yeah, it's a tight locker room, and I think he really appreciates it, and I think he recognizes how special this group is, and I think that's why that's why I feel like he's fighting to get back, and I feel like that's why it's a good group, and he's definitely part of that.
But right now, I mean, I couldn't believe it. He's no boot. He says he's got a little limp or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening.
I asked him on Saturday night too. I was like, hey, do you want to be in the box or do you want to be on the field? He goes, oh, I'm going to be on the field. I was like, are you sure? Can your ankle handle it? He said, my ankle's fine. And so everyone I've talked to, anyone who I've talked to that has had an Achilles injury has been pretty amazed that he's even walking at this point.
All right.
So
you have no intention of, do you have any plans to go to Philadelphia in your bye week? I would, I don't know if you plan on going there, Coach. Got any plans on that? You got any plans? No?
Shoot, no.
You're not, I don't know how popular they are right there now. They were not happy with the 11 kisses. And
you know what it was. Well, the things that we live by. If they hate you, it means you're doing something right. So
yeah, I know. I mean, they're not pleased with you. And I know. I guess you were on Good Morning Football. You were remarking about your comments about embarrassing the other quarterbacks when you saw that one back. What was that? What was that about? Were you caught up?
My whole thing is maybe the word was a little rough, but facts are facts. Our defense, they make it hard on quarterbacks, and maybe embarrassing hurt some feelings, and I apologize, but definitely not going to apologize for the way the defense has been playing.
I'm just wondering, like, were you talking to your locker room there? Like, is that one of those things you were talking to the locker room through your mic, or that literally was like first blush, you're psyched you beat the Eagles, and that just came out? Something like that?
Following a game, I'm 15 minutes isn't enough for me to calm down after a game. So maybe Jared and Eric, our PR guys, just need to hold me for another 5 minutes. Because there's a lot of things I want to say.
Yeah, sure. Of that, I am sure. Of that, I am sure.
But,
okay.
No, it's.
So what does the rest of your bye week look like before I let you go? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
You know, I'm in my golf clothes, so I get a little golfing, and then. But other than that, just hang out with the kids, the wife. Maybe see a couple of movies, eat some popcorn, hang out with them, and see some of my kids' sports. Haven't gotten a chance to see any of that lately, but that's about it.
Okay, I didn't know that was your golf clothes, because the golf clothes I saw you in is you're wearing a shirt that's probably a little too small to show everything else off. I saw that shot, Robert.
It's a little chilly.
Oh, okay, understand. Okay, I get it. I appreciate the time right here. So your message to Jets fans would be what right now? The number of people that reach out to me, it's insane, about, you know, the offense and Zach and will Rodgers come back and what are they going to do? There's a trade deadline. What message do you have to the community writ large at 3-3 on the bye? Coach, what do you have for me?
Keep the faith, enjoy the ride.
All right. Very good. Coach, appreciate the time. You be well. We'll chat again soon.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Rich.
That is Robert Saleh, the head coach of the 3-3 New York Jets. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.